chosen ones. They thought they had you all figured out when they gathered in their little secret meetings, plotting your downfall with the confidence of predators who believe they've cornered easy prey. Right now, at this very moment, someone is losing sleep because their elaborate scheme to destroy you has spectacularly backfired. They drew up their plans with military precision, recruited their accomplices with promises of shared spoils, even calculated the insurance payout they'd collect after making your death look accidental. What they didn't know is you've died before. That's how your veil got lifted. While they were plotting your destruction, they had no clue they were targeting someone who has already walked through death multiple times and emerged with a supernatural sight that pierces through every lie, every scheme, every pathetic attempt at spiritual warfare they could throw at you. Your deaths weren't tragedies. They were your training ground, your initiation into power levels they can't even comprehend. And now divine protection flows around you like an impenetrable fortress, because you've earned the right to be untouchable through trials that would have destroyed lesser souls. There's a karmic energy that has been working against you, chosen one. And this isn't some random occurrence or coincidence. This person collaborated with others to spark mistrust around you. They wanted people close to you to question your intentions, your character, your very essence. But here's what's about to blow your mind. You discovered this individual's unhealthy obsession over a romantic encounter that involved you. Their fixation runs so deep it drives them to actions most people wouldn't even consider in their darkest moments. While they were pulling strings behind the scenes trying to make you look untrustworthy, you saw through their manipulation immediately. You recognized their desperate attempts to control the narrative, and when their desperation reached terrifying levels, when they actually collaborated with someone to try to harm you permanently, you activated protection they never knew existed. They wanted you gone completely. The plan was sophisticated, making it look like an accident or natural disaster, something that wouldn't point back to them. But you transformed what was meant to be a coordinated attack on your very existence into evidence of your divine protection. The darkness in their heart reached levels most people never experience, yet it couldn't penetrate the light you carry. They crossed lines that should never be crossed because they couldn't handle your light, your gifts, your divine purpose. What makes you different from their other targets is devastatingly simple. You stay ready so you never have to get ready. You've been walking with death since birth, which means you understand spiritual warfare in ways they never anticipated. The root of this entire situation traces back to a person you both knew, someone you connected with at different points in your lives. Here's where the story gets interesting. You knew this person before they did, and that priority and timing created a foundation they couldn't accept. When you were recognized as a gift to this individual, when this person started making plans that included you, possibly even envisioning sharing a home together, your enemy's jealousy transformed into something monstrous. The connection between you two represented something genuine, something pure, something that illuminated everything they lacked. But instead of engaging in petty drama, instead of lowering your standards, you maintained your integrity completely. You walked away from the chaos, refused to engage in toxic dynamics, and this choice to maintain your dignity became the foundation for your ultimate victory. Sometimes the greatest power move is non-engagement. Your peace became their greatest threat because it highlighted their own internal turmoil. You demonstrated that a chosen one doesn't need to fight every battle. Sometimes you win by simply being unreachable, untouchable, unmoved by others' desperate attempts to pull you into their dysfunction. Your emotional intelligence saved you from entanglements that would have drained your energy and delayed your purpose. But what you're about to discover goes beyond personal jealousy or romantic rivalry. When they orchestrated an insurance fraud scheme with your life as the centerpiece, you activated protection systems they never knew existed. There was no love in their actions, no emotional complexity, just pure calculated greed that you saw coming from miles away. The network of collaborators they assembled, the false promises they created, the fake obligations they set up, all designed so your harm would result in their financial gain. You were already 10 steps ahead spiritually. You disrupted their attempts to bind others to their plan by maintaining such clear energy that their confusion and illusions couldn't stick to anyone around you. Their goal was to make everyone around you question reality, question your value, question your right to exist in their space. Instead, your authenticity made their deception obvious to anyone with discernment. The scope of their planning revealed a level of premeditation that most people never encounter. This wasn't impulse or emotion. This was strategic, calculated, designed to benefit them while destroying you completely. But here's where your power really shows itself. Instead of panicking or trying to fight them on their level, you elevated your energy to frequencies where their schemes couldn't reach you. You understood that the best way to defeat darkness is to become such a bright light that shadows disappear automatically. What they fundamentally misunderstood about you, Chosen One, is your relationship with death itself. This is the secret that makes you invincible. You and death have an understanding. You've been walking with death since the day you were born. This isn't something to fear. It's your greatest protection and the source of your unshakable power. Every symbolic death throughout your life, every close call, every moment where you almost didn't make it, these experiences elevated your spiritual ranking to heights they couldn't comprehend. You developed a state of constant readiness for spiritual warfare because your entire life has been preparation for moments exactly like this one. When they came against you, they encountered someone who had already been tested by fire, someone who had already walked through the valley of death and emerged stronger, wiser, more connected to divine source. Your spiritual ranking operates on levels they can't even perceive. You're protected in ways that most people never achieve, because you've earned that protection through trials that would have broken lesser souls. The multiple symbolic deaths you've survived throughout your life weren't random suffering. Each one was carefully orchestrated universal training. The relationship that ended so brutally, it felt like your soul was being torn apart. That taught you detachment. The career that collapsed overnight. That taught you that your value isn't tied to external validation. The betrayal from someone you trusted completely. That taught you discernment at supernatural levels. If this message hits deep in your spirit right now, if you're feeling that ancestral confirmation rising in your chest, hype this video so more chosen ones can discover their death-defying power. Share this frequency with those who need to know their trials were actually training for victory. Their current state reveals everything about the outcome of their actions. You've consumed them with anxiety because their carefully laid plans crumbled into dust the moment they encountered your energy. They've been getting readings about you, desperately trying to understand how their attack failed so spectacularly. The realization that they went up against someone operating on a completely different spiritual level has left them shaken to their core. They discovered too late that you're prepared for attacks they didn't even know were possible. You've turned their false promises into their own prison. Every lie they told to build their scheme against you has become a weight around their neck. They made commitments they can't keep, created expectations they can't fulfill, and now they're scrambling to manage the fallout of their failed conspiracy. In their desperation, they're trying to reconnect with you, seeking your empathy, hoping you'll somehow show mercy or understanding for what they attempted. But you maintain perfect boundaries because you understand that showing compassion to unrepentant enemies, it is not wisdom, it's self-sabotage. The foundation of their hatred centers on something they could never understand about you. Your occupation and the unexpected income it generates comes from such perfect alignment with your purpose that financial abundance flows naturally into your life. Your ability to make money in ways that feel effortless to you appears impossible to them because they're operating from struggle while you're operating from flow. Your capacity to bring spark back into people's lives, to revitalize their energy, to remind them of their own potential, this gift you carry threatened everything they thought they understood about value and worth. You possess something they can never replicate. Genuine connection to source energy that translates into real-world prosperity. Your work feels like play because you're operating in your divine purpose. Meanwhile, they're grinding themselves into dust trying to achieve through manipulation what comes to you naturally through alignment. You carry unconditional love, compassion, and selflessness in ways that highlighted everything they lack. When they saw your genuine care for people's well-being, not romantic obsession but authentic love, it exposed their own inability to love without agenda. Here's what really destroyed them. You've already survived humiliation and transformed it into wisdom that most people never develop. When they wanted to humiliate you even further, to break whatever spirit they thought remained unbroken in you, you responded with something that shook them to their core. Laughter. Pure, genuine laughter at the absurdity of their elaborate scheme. You looked at their complex conspiracy and recognized it for what it was, the desperate actions of someone operating from fear and lack. Your ability to find humor in their attempts to destroy you revealed a level of spiritual maturity they couldn't comprehend. You looked at their complex conspiracy with all its moving parts and recognized it for what it was, the desperate actions of someone operating from fear and lack, someone so empty inside that they needed to destroy others to feel powerful. Your ability to find humor in their attempts to destroy you revealed a level of spiritual maturity they couldn't comprehend. How do you destroy someone who laughs at destruction? How do you humiliate someone who has already transformed humiliation into power? How do you break someone who has already been broken and rebuilt themselves stronger? Your near-death experiences weren't accidents or coincidences sent by random universal chaos. You've been on hospital tables with medical staff amazed at your survival, faced traumatic situations that required divine intervention to survive, encountered moments where the veil between life and death became so thin you could see through it. Each of these experiences was preparation for this moment, training for the spiritual warfare you're currently navigating. The time your heart stopped and you felt yourself floating above your body, watching the medical team work frantically to bring you back. That was your introduction to the fact that you are not your body. The accident that should have killed you instantly but left you without a scratch while witnesses stood in disbelief, that was the universe showing you that you're protected by forces that transcend physical laws. You understand something most people never learn because they never get close enough to death to receive its teaching. Death is not your enemy, it's your teacher, your ally, your transformation agent. It's the force that strips away everything false and reveals what's eternally true. Your multiple symbolic deaths taught you that endings are just beginnings in disguise, that destruction is creation's first step, that what looks like loss is often liberation. Every time you've had to let go of who you were to become who you're meant to be, you've emerged stronger, wiser, more connected to your true power. You've developed a friendship with death that gives you perspective most people never achieve. While others run from endings, you run toward them knowing they bring new beginnings. While others fear transformation, you embrace it knowing it brings elevation. While others cling to the familiar, you release it knowing that something better is always waiting. You understand that your departure from this realm will happen according to divine timing, not according to the plans of envious individuals who think they can play God with human lives. This knowledge makes you fearless in ways that terrify those who operate from ego and manipulation. How do you scare someone who has made friends with the thing everyone fears most? You've died to old versions of yourself so many times that you're comfortable with transformation in ways that make others deeply uncomfortable. The death of your people-pleasing self who needed everyone's approval. The death of your victim self who blamed others for your circumstances. The death of your limited self who believed in scarcity and competition. The death of your false self who performed for validation. Each death was harder than the last because you were dying to deeper and deeper layers of illusion. You carry the energy of someone who has walked through fire and emerged purified rather than burned. Someone who has been dismantled and reassembled by cosmic forces. Let me tell you something about your true nature that they completely missed when they were studying you for weaknesses. You see things clearly, chosen one, and this vision penetrates illusions that fool most people completely. You're clairvoyant without trying to be, prophetic without studying prophecy, sensitive to supernatural forces and influences in ways that make you dangerous to those who prefer to operate in shadows. Your third eye didn't open through meditation or spiritual practice. It was blown open by the force of your symbolic deaths, creating a permanent portal to higher sight. Your ancestral protection surrounds you like an impenetrable shield that activates automatically when you're under attack. Grandmothers you never met stand guard in the spiritual realm. Ancestors whose names you don't know fight battles you can't see. Your bloodline contains warriors, survivors, people who faced impossible odds and won, and their combined strength flows through your veins. Your shamanic energy connects you to wisdom traditions that stretch back generations, to medicine people and healers, to those who walked between worlds and returned with knowledge. You carry gifts that mark you as someone chosen for a specific purpose in this lifetime, marked before birth for a mission that required these exact trials. They had absolutely no idea who they were dealing with when they started their plan. They saw your kindness and made the fatal mistake of assuming it meant weakness, not understanding that true strength can afford to be gentle. They observed your peace and incorrectly concluded you were unprepared for war, not realizing that peace is what remains after you've won all your internal battles. They couldn't have been more wrong about your true nature. Your kindness comes from strength, not weakness. Your peace comes from power, not passivity. Your love comes from wholeness, not need. You operate with a level of spiritual intelligence that intimidates people who are used to fooling others easily. Con artists feel exposed in your presence. Liars stumble over their words when you look at them. Manipulators find their tactics failing for reasons they can't understand. Your very presence makes liars uncomfortable because they can feel you seeing through their masks even when you say nothing. You don't need proof to know when someone is operating from darkness, because your deaths gave you the ability to recognize energy signatures. You feel it in your spirit immediately, like a radar that detects deception before it fully forms. The person at the center of this triangle is currently experiencing devastating heartbreak because you showed them what authentic connection looks like before they chose to participate in something that went against their own best interests. They got a taste of real love, the kind that doesn't manipulate or control, and then they chose manipulation over truth. They're suffering because they allowed themselves to be manipulated into betraying a genuine bond, and now they know what they lost. The contrast between what they had with you and what they have now is eating them alive. You recognized the manipulation early and took decisive action by blocking all access to your energy. Not dramatically, not with long explanations or emotional scenes, but with the clean precision of someone who knows their worth. You saw through the illusions they were trying to create and removed yourself from the entire situation before it could cause you additional harm. Your swift action protected not only yourself, but preserved your integrity. You demonstrated what it looks like when someone values themselves enough to walk away from toxic dynamics, even when it involves people they care about. Your decision to cut ties completely sent a powerful message about your standards and your unwillingness to participate in dysfunction. This wasn't emotional decision-making. This was spiritual intelligence in action. This individual is now facing legal troubles connected to the conspiracy against you, because you maintained such clear boundaries that the truth couldn't be hidden forever. The false narrative they helped create is unraveling because you refuse to participate in the cover-up through your silence or compliance. Your absence from the situation became a presence that demanded truth. You understand balance in ways that most people never achieve, chosen one. You're a giver and taker when it comes to both light and darkness energy, which means you're complete in ways that intimidate those who only understand one side of the spiritual spectrum. You give your all when working with light frequencies, channeling healing, love, and restoration with a purity that transforms everyone around you. But you also give your all when working with dark frequencies, understanding that sometimes destruction is necessary for rebirth, that sometimes you must cut away what doesn't serve to make room for what does. Your approach to conflict reveals your spiritual maturity in action. You offer others a choice, though they might not realize it's their last chance. We can all get along and be civil, operating from mutual respect even if we're not friends, or we can handle this another way entirely. You're prepared for whatever response they choose, comfortable operating in both peaceful and combative energies without losing your center. Your readiness to engage on any level, physical, emotional, spiritual, makes you concerned to those who prefer predictable opponents. They can't box you into a single strategy because you're equally comfortable in all realms of existence. You've completed a transformation that required you to walk through experiences most people never survive intact. You've ascended both legally and spiritually to a level where their attacks can't reach you anymore. This isn't just spiritual theory or positive thinking. This is practical reality playing out in your life right now in ways that can be measured and verified. When they tried to paint you as something you're not, creating false narratives about your character and intentions, spreading rumors designed to isolate you, you maintained such authentic energy that their lies couldn't stick to you. Every attempt failed because your genuine self shines too brightly for their illusions to find any purchase. The confirmation of your gifts comes not from external validation, but from undeniable results that speak for themselves. Your prayers get answered with precision that amazes even you, sometimes within hours of asking. Your protection holds strong against attacks that would devastate others, leaving attackers confused about why their reliable methods suddenly failed. Your enemies defeat themselves through their own actions, while you remain untouched, watching their self-destruction with a mixture of sadness and amazement. Everyone who truly knows you has always recognized your gift. In your community, among people who've watched your journey unfold, there's universal acknowledgement that you carry something special, something rare, something powerful that can't be faked or manufactured. People in your community have watched you transform pain into power with their own eyes. They've seen you take situations that would have destroyed others and use them as fuel for growth. They've witnessed you convert trauma into triumph, setbacks into comebacks in ways that defy ordinary explanation. They've seen you find light in the darkest situations when everyone else had given up hope, maintain faith when everything seemed hopeless, keep moving forward when others would have given up completely. You've become a living testimony that chosen ones don't just survive their trials, they use them as stepping stones to higher levels of consciousness and power. Your hands carry healing power that flows directly from source energy, and this isn't metaphorical or symbolic. You channel divine frequencies that can restore life, revitalize spirits, heal wounds that others consider permanent. People have experienced miraculous healings in your presence, conditions that doctors couldn't explain, suddenly resolving, emotional wounds decades old finally closing. This isn't something you do, it's something that flows through you when you're aligned with divine purpose. Your ability to heal yourself demonstrates your connection to regenerative forces that most people never access. You've proven time and again that you can recover from injuries that should have been permanent, trauma that should have broken you, setbacks that would permanently damage others. You synchronize with source energy so completely that balance and harmony flow through you naturally like a river that knows its course. When you're operating in your gifts, you become a living channel for divine restoration. People feel better just being in your presence because you carry frequencies that automatically uplift and heal without any conscious effort on your part. You are the ocean of resurrection, rebirth, transformation, and renewal flow through your very being. You represent proof that death is not final, that endings can become beginnings, that what appears destroyed can be restored to greater glory than it ever had before. You've even healed the very person who became part of the conspiracy against you, though they might not realize it yet. Your energy worked on them even as they worked against you, planting seeds of consciousness that will eventually bloom into regret and transformation. This proves that your nature remains aligned with love even when faced with betrayal. Your capacity to maintain healing energy toward those who harm you demonstrates spiritual mastery that few people ever achieve. This isn't weakness or naivety, it's the ultimate power move. You're so connected to Source that their darkness couldn't contaminate your light, couldn't make you become like them. Here's the divine justice that's already manifesting in ways that would seem like fiction if you wrote it down. They're both suffering now, the orchestrator and the accomplice, experiencing consequences that perfectly reflect the energy they put into the universe when they targeted you for destruction. The person who orchestrated the conspiracy is watching their life crumble piece by piece. Relationships they valued are ending. Opportunities they counted on are disappearing. Health issues are manifesting that medicine can't explain. The person who participated in it is experiencing the weight of their choice every single day. They can't sleep properly. They can't eat without feeling sick. They see your face in their dreams, not angry but disappointed. The universe's mathematical precision in delivering karma is something to behold. They're learning that universal law operates with perfect accuracy, that energy sent out returns multiplied, That attempted murder of a chosen one activates consequences they never learned about in their research. Meanwhile, you're thriving completely, unbothered by their schemes, making authentic money through your divine gifts, operating as an influencer whose light attracts people naturally. Your success isn't spite, it's the natural consequence of alignment versus chaos. Your success grows exponentially, while their world crumbles because you aligned with truth, while they aligned with deception. Every day brings new evidence of this universal principle in action. Your peace contrasts sharply with their chaos in ways that make universal justice undeniably clear to anyone watching. While they're dealing with anxiety that therapy can't touch, legal troubles that lawyers can't fully resolve, financial problems that seem to multiply, and relationship drama that gets worse with each attempt to fix it, you're experiencing the kind of peace that surpasses understanding. You've created a life where every day brings new evidence of divine favor, not because you're special but because you're aligned. Opportunities open for you that others struggle to find. Doors that were locked suddenly swing wide. Resources flow to you from unexpected sources. People you've never met feeling compelled to support your mission. People want to help you succeed because they can sense you're aligned with something greater than yourself, something that benefits everyone who comes in contact with it. Their downfall while you rise serves as undeniable proof that you were never the problem. You were always the solution, the blessing, the gift they were too blind to recognize and too foolish to honor. The game is over for their energy, chosen one, and everyone can see it. Divine justice has spoken in a language that transcends human courts. Universal law has been enforced by judges they can't bribe or influence. The outcome clearly demonstrates who operates from truth and who operates from deception, creating a testimony that will be referenced for generations. Their defeat isn't just personal, it's cosmic confirmation that light always overcomes darkness, even when darkness seems to have every advantage. Your victory sends a message to every other chosen one who might face similar attacks. The message is simple but powerful. Stay in your truth even when lies surround you. Trust your protection even when danger seems certain. Maintain your integrity even when corruption offers rewards. Watch the universe handle your enemies in ways that exceed your wildest imagination, in ways you couldn't orchestrate if you tried. You've become living proof that divine justice doesn't need human intervention to be perfect. You've transformed completely, evolving beyond old paradigms and outdated spiritual concepts that once defined your journey. The person you were before these deaths wouldn't recognize who you've become, and that's exactly how it should be. You're no longer operating in patterns that keep you small, no longer believing limitations that others accept as fact, no longer accepting realities that don't match your divine nature. Your mission now involves teaching lessons through your example, not through preaching but through living. Your survival teaches others about protection. Your triumph teaches others about divine justice. Your peace teaches others about true power. Your very existence proves that chosen ones can overcome any attack, survive any conspiracy, emerge victorious from any spiritual warfare. You've moved beyond seeking external validation for your gifts because you've developed an unshakable inner knowing about who you are and what you carry. Your confidence comes from proven results, from answered prayers that came exactly when needed, from victories that couldn't be explained by luck or coincidence, from protection that activated exactly when required. Your compassion has deepened without making you vulnerable to manipulation. You can love people without letting them drain you, care about others without sacrificing your own well-being, offer support without enabling dysfunction. Your speaking, walking, and being have all shifted to reflect your new spiritual status. People notice something different about you but can't quite name it. You carry yourself differently because you are fundamentally different from who you were before these trials began. Your energy radiates authority that comes from surviving experience rather than theoretical knowledge. You've learned to distinguish between genuine spiritual connection and trauma bonding, between authentic love and addictive attachment, between divine timing and human impatience. These distinctions protect you from repeating old patterns that no longer serve your evolved consciousness. People can feel the difference in your energy now, even through screens, even through text messages. You vibrate at frequencies that attract only what's meant for you, while repelling what would harm you. Your transformation is so complete that you operate like a spiritual magnet with perfectly calibrated poles. Love, harmony, tranquility, prosperity, peace, protection, respect, good health, and good wealth are all being established in your life as permanent fixtures rather than temporary experiences. These aren't rewards for good behavior. They're natural consequences of energetic alignment. Your victory over this conspiracy proves your chosen status beyond any doubt. Not to others, because their validation doesn't matter, but to yourself, which is the only validation that counts. Your survival of their coordinated attack demonstrates your spiritual ranking in ways that can't be questioned or debated. Your continued thriving while they suffer confirms that universal justice operates with perfect precision and divine timing, never early, never late, always exactly when needed for maximum impact and learning. Chosen one, anyone can listen to messages like these, but few will step into their true power. We are here to help you do just that. The weekly Chosen Ones group calls are now on Zoom, and this is the moment you've been waiting for your entire life. These meetings are literal power vortexes, where destinies are forged, where chosen ones unite their consciousness to create something that cannot exist in isolation. This is where everything changes. This is where you step into your greatness. Every week a doorway opens, but only for those brave enough to step through it. Watcher-level members of the Obsidian Inner Order can experience these transformative sessions live, feeling the energy surge through your entire being. In our most recent gathering, participants were stunned by revelations about the Great Pyramids of Giza as sophisticated ancient power plants, and the shocking truth about Washington, D.C.'s layout, perfectly aligning with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Star Chamber members receive unlimited access to the complete recordings archive, a treasure trove of wisdom that grows more valuable with each passing week. This is your defining moment. The knowledge, the connection, the power that flows through these calls cannot be found anywhere else. Join the Obsidian Inner Order now, link in the description. While the few remaining Star Chamber slots are still available, your presence is not just welcome, it's necessary. Will you answer the call that has been echoing through your soul? The time is now. Walk forward in complete confidence, chosen one, knowing that what you've survived has made you invincible in ways they never calculated. You are exactly who you were meant to be, standing exactly where you were meant to stand, carrying exactly the power you were meant to carry. Your enemies have defeated themselves through their own actions, creating their own punishment through their own choices. Your protection remains unbreachable, upgraded through each attack to handle even more sophisticated threats. Your future burns brighter than the sun, not with destroying heat, but with life-giving warmth that nurtures everything it touches. Every breath you take is evidence of divine favor, proof that you're supposed to be here. Every step you make is guided by universal wisdom that sees the path even when you can't. Every choice you embrace is supported by cosmic forces that ensure your ultimate victory in all things. The universe itself conspires in your favor, not because you're special, but because you're aligned with its fundamental nature of growth, evolution, and love. What they didn't know when they started their little game is that you've died before, and that's exactly what made you impossible to kill. Your veil lifted through those deaths, revealing truth they couldn't handle, power they couldn't match, protection they couldn't breach. Your power activated through those endings, creating beginnings they couldn't foresee, possibilities they couldn't prevent, realities they couldn't stop from manifesting. Your time has come through those completions, birthing creations they couldn't stop, movements they couldn't suppress, influences they couldn't contain. You are the chosen one who survived multiple deaths to become something this world has never seen before, something prophecies spoke of but couldn't fully describe. And now, nothing and no one can stop what you've become through the very trials they thought would destroy you. The deaths that were meant to end you became the births that created you. The destructions that were meant to erase you became the constructions that established you. The endings that were meant to finish you became the beginnings that launched you into your true purpose. What they didn't know is that chosen ones don't die. We transform, we evolve, we become more powerful than our enemy's limited imagination could ever conceive, and that transformation is already complete.